Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at 10 SEGA games that deserve a remake.
Come on! DJ, go! DJ, go! Come on!
Lately, SEGA has been throwing around talks of remaking and remastering some of their older, more dormant IPs. Well, if that's the case, perk up your ears, SEGA, because we got a Christmas list for you. What other SEGA games would you like to see on newer hardware? Share us your thoughts in the comments below.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Golden Axe series. Golden Axe has been gone for a very, very long time, but we can understand why the IP was laid to rest after the failure that was Golden Axe Beast Rider. See, Golden Axe was known as one of those immensely fun arcade beat-em-ups, giving players control of barbarians, warriors, and the like. Though the controls are a bit obsolete today, the games are still fun to play. Today we've seen a handful of beat-em-up titles see incredible success, from River City Girls to Streets of Rage 4. So why not bring Gilius Thunderhead and company back for another go? Just, don't make it like you guys did with Beast Rider, okay?
How am I to find peace after taking your life?
Burning Rangers. If you've never heard of Burning Rangers, well, that's a sign that SEGA really needs to bring the squad back. Burning Rangers was a Sega Saturn gem and only got the one game. As a rookie member of this mega team of firefighters, you would dive into burning buildings and rescue trapped citizens as one of the characters feeds you directions to make your journey as smooth as possible. With the modern world of video games, Burning Rangers could easily come back with a big enough budget. Give it an open world setting with some management elements to upgrade equipment and customize our fire station. With newer hardware, Burning Rangers can make a fantastic return and potentially launch its name into franchise status. And if you don't believe me, just go listen to the song We Are Burning Rangers. It'll make you believe in the game's potential. It is such a bop.
Just do it, just Burning Rangers!
MadWorld. MadWorld was one of many Wii games that has long been stranded on the console, and we're not quite sure why. The game doesn't make heavy use of the Wii's motion controls, so why wasn't this ever ported to other consoles? Praised for its unique visuals and over-the-top ultra-violence, MadWorld became a much-loved M-rated game on a family-friendly console. Though we did get a spiritual successor in the form of Anarchy Reigns, it didn't hit the same way. Come on, Sega, bring back Max and his whacked-out chainsaw. Let us rampage across the blood-soaked Jefferson Island in its gorgeous black and white aesthetic once more. Platinum Games is clearly looking for work after Babylon's Fall fell flat. Sign them up for a sequel or a remake.
Navy SEAL? Special Ops? Come on, bitch!
Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. Once upon a time, Sega and Capcom were a couple of Disney's biggest partners, bringing their magical worlds to the realm of video games. Whereas Capcom gave us DuckTales, Aladdin, and more, Sega's most popular Disney game was Castle of Illusion. An original story by Sega themselves, Castle of Illusion gave us a charming 2D platformer where Mickey Mouse must save Minnie from the dreadful Mizrabel and her cunning castle of confusion. The game would see 3 sequels and even a remake for Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. Unfortunately, the remake is not exactly up to quality on PC, and, you can't exactly play it on PS3 thanks to Sony making the PlayStation Store almost unusable on PS3. So the only way you can play it now is if you have a working Xbox 360 or if you have an Xbox Series XS. As for the original Castle of Illusion, that can only be played on a 2019 Genesis Mini or if you have a working Sega Genesis today. Or, you know, if you're using something else like an emulator, but that's besides the point. With Disney's newfound interest in gaming these last few years, perhaps Sega can approach them with a Castle of Illusion collection? Sonic Adventure 2.
I came here following the signal from the Emerald. If I'm not mistaken, this is the Master Emerald, is it not? Dr. Eggman.
Honestly, we'd be happy if even the original Sonic Adventure got a remake. It seriously needs one. Come on, have you seen those facial animations? But we're specifically choosing the sequel because it is arguably the better of the two. The Hero and Dark campaigns made it feel like you nabbed two awesome games for the price of one, and the story of Shadow, his past, and the Ark is the best storyline in the entire Sonic franchise.
Maria.
While you can still buy and play the game on PC and Xbox Series XS, it'd be really cool to see the game completely remade with better visuals. That isn't to say SA2 doesn't look good today, it'd just be interesting to see it with a bit more detail and flair. You know, really take advantage of modern hardware.
I got it!
Fighters Megamix. In case you hadn't heard of this fighting game gem, Fighters Megamix was sort of a Sega mashup of some of its IP. The roster was mainly composed of Virtua Fighter and Fighting Vipers characters, yet it did feature some other Sega characters like Bean and Bark from Sonic the Fighters, Janet from Virtua Cop 2, and the Hornet from Daytona USA? What? With fighting games being bigger than they ever have been thanks to FGC pros, tournament organizers like Evo, and streamers like Maximilian Dude, Fighting Vipers could make a huge comeback if focused more on its mashup concept. Don't just throw in Akira, Honey, and Sonic in the mix, let's get wild with it. How much do I gotta pay to see Ai from Super Monkey Ball wailing on Bayonetta? Or how about Kiryu from Yakuza throwing down with Joker from Persona 5? Echo the Dolphin versus one of the Sakura Wars waifus? Come on, you gotta get crazy with it. Bring back Fighters Megamix and bring it back bigger than it was back then. Virtua Quest. Speaking of mashups, one mashup game that had huge potential was Virtua Quest. A spin-off of the Virtua Fighter series, Virtua Quest put players in the shoes of young Sai, who lives in a world where folks would much rather spend time in a metaverse than take part in the real world. Sounds a bit familiar, doesn't it?
But he's not here. And I'm sick of looking at you.
Admittedly, the story and gameplay are very middling, but that's why Sega should take another crack at this IP. Imagine an action RPG where you travel into a digital world made up of various Sega franchises, not just Virtua Fighter. Let players customize their own characters. Keep the concept of hunters who collect data chips for an underground market, and you could have an awesome new action RPG for Sega fans. Plus, the game did see you training alongside Virtua Fighter characters, so imagine if your character could pick up moves from various other Sega characters. Mix up maybe some of Akira's moves with Sonic's honing attack and stuff. It'd be so cool to see.
It alone has the power to find virtuous souls and the ability to draw upon their power.
Samba de Amigo. While we have seen countless music games centered on guitar, drums, singing, and even DJs for some reason, none of them hit the same way as Samba de Amigo. You could say this game beat Guitar Hero to the punch in terms of music games simulating real instruments. Only difference here was the maracas. Samba de Amigo was a celebration of classical and modern Latin music, and the controls made it easy for you to shake in accordance with the notes while jamming out your own way. The last time we saw Amigo and his amigos was when the Dreamcast classic was remastered and ported to the Wii in 2009. It wasn't exactly a perfect port, but it was a way. Today, Samba de Amigo could serve as an excellent avenue for folks to discover more Latin music artists through DLC, season passes, and the like, while celebrating Latin culture and heritage. Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller. Honestly, we'll take a remake or port of any Crazy Taxi game, even the original, just so long as you get it right and put in Pizza Hut and not screw it up like you did with the Xbox 360 re-release. It's been forever since we've gotten to make some crazy money of our own. So why are we choosing High Roller over the previous titles? Well, High Roller felt more refined and loaded with content. Not only did you get the same core gameplay of the arcade classic, we also got more characters to play as, more vehicles to drive, and more minigames to test our crazy skills. In other words, it felt like Crazy Taxi had been expanded upon for the home console market.
Enjoy the ride. Time bonus.
Honestly, if Sega could find some way to put out all 3 of the original Crazy Taxi games under one collection, we'll buy it in a heartbeat. But if we could only choose one, High Roller is definitely it. Besides, if we did choose the original, we wouldn't be getting the one with the Pizza Huts everywhere and the awesome licensed music. Remember the 360 and PS3 port, folks. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. Jet Set Radio series. Jet Set Radio was, and still is, one of Sega's most underappreciated gems, and we couldn't decide between the original and future. It's almost impossible. For those unfamiliar with this short-lived IP, Jet Set Radio tasked players with skating around the city, tagging vehicles and walls while avoiding the cops. It was weird, it was wacky, and it was definitely funky. The shenanigans and harmless misdemeanors made for a thrilling adventure of sick beats and constant cop griefing. Even if we are not to see Beat and his crew again, a modern Jet Set Radio could borrow elements from online survival games. Players could gang up with their friends on a public server, join a faction, tag as much of the city as they can to compete against rival factions, and even collect materials to improve equipment like skates and guards. Make it a total playground and throw in a handful of radio stations for players to jam to while they cause mischief. You know, like in GTA or Burnout. This, or just make it an open world multiplayer title. Either way, you need Sega. Listen to me, you need Jet Set Radio. It is worth the investment.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.